There's demon bugs trying to get in on me, folks. What the hell kind of bug is that? But they're attacking my window. So what the hell kind of bugs are they? What in the hell? That's crazy. Alright, so now that I covered the demon bugs trying to break their way into my room, and I have the M1A on standby here, I'm going to talk about the NRA annual meetings and exhibits. I was supposed to do this video a couple days ago, but I got busy. My last official video like that was serious was the NRA annual meetings and exhibits 2019, and I say serious because that was relating to that topic. I made the music video a few days ago of my AR-15. Music videos are easy to make, and I figured I probably ought to make something because, for one, I hadn't made a music video on my Oracle, and two, it'd let you guys know that I'm still, in the process of doing stuff. So anyway, I've done this video once already, but it was too long. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's my plan of attack. I'm going to talk about the guns that interested me, and that will be video 1. And then video 2 I'll do a few days from now, or, whenever I get time. And I'll just talk about the show in general. Hopefully it won't be that too much of a big time. But anyway, let's get started on the guns. Okay, so on the first booth that we went to, was CZ USA. As you can see, I got their hat here, which they were very reluctant to give to us. And the firearm that impressed me the most out of CZ USA was their SP01, just the regular, flip safety model. Their double action handgun, and it fit good in my hand. I liked the weight. It wasn't too heavy, but it still had the weight there. It wasn't like paper thin, or it didn't feel like it was this light like some handguns do nowadays. Some of the polymer synthetic ones. Nothing wrong with light handguns, but I kind of like the little bit of heft there, especially with a 9mm. But the CZ75 SP01 pretty much officially filled the slot for second handgun, in my opinion. So, that could change. But right now it's set, like in my mind, I've got it like Glock will be first, Model 17 Gen 5, and then CZ75 SP01. That's how I got it in my head. Okay. Next group that impressed me, gun group, company, was the Smith & Wesson Thompson Center LRR. And them bugs are getting pretty annoying now. I can hear them pretty bad. But I looked at their 6.5 Creedmoor model, and it was pretty nice. I'll put in a picture of that. Nice little rifle, completely free-floated barrel, but I thought it would weigh less than what it did. It's actually a pretty bulky gun. It doesn't weigh as much as my M1A, but it weighs a considerable amount. You'd have to have a sling for it if you was going to carry it around, just like my M1A. But it's so deceiving. You'd think it would weigh a lot less because of that chassis. But anyway, it weighs a considerable amount. Not a considerable amount, but it weighs a good amount. It weighs about 10 pounds, it felt like to me. But it was nice. Okay. I did go to Springfield, and I checked out their M1A rifles, and then I went and I checked out Bula Defense. Now, Mac Daddy 1911 A1 asked me to look at Bula Defense Systems. And the one he specifically wanted me to look at was the XM21 CBR. And I went and I looked at that one. And after I just got done at Springfield's booth, I held their SOCOM M1A. Then the regular 16-inch, I held the GI stock one, and then I went and I held their CBR. Their CBR model, and the CBR with more stuff mounted on it, like they had a flashlight and a foregrip, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Way less than the regular SOCOM that Springfield offers, and I was blown away by that. But I was blown away by Bula Defense's version of their SOCOM, the CBR. The CBR M14 that they offer, and it weighed absolutely nothing. It weighed less than my DPMS Oracle, to put it into perspective. I held their other M1As, their other M14 rifles, and I think if I'm going to get another M1A, which I strongly think I am, I think I'm strongly going to get another M14 rifle, because seriously, you guys, you can't ignore the awesomeness of the semi-automatic ability that the M1A offers. And I know there's AR-10s and stuff, but they don't have the history that the M1A M14 does. And I really like Springfield. I may end up with another Springfield too, but I think if my go-to, next M14 M1A, if I pull the trigger on getting another one, and I strongly believe that I am, it's going to be their just plain Jane Woodstock Vietnam style M14. They impressed me that much. They're pretty solid rifles, and they functioned flawlessly, and the action was like butter. Very good rifle. The next gun manufacturer that I went to was Daniel Defense. My buddy, he has a M4V model that he wants from them, but I could not remember at the time which one that he wanted me to look at. He had two of them. Well, in my mind I had two of them to go look at, because I couldn't remember the specific one that he wanted to see. And it turns out it's the M4V11. I talked with him the other day. Had a good 2-hour chat with him. That was pretty good catching up with him. Hadn't heard from him in a while. But he wants the M4V11, so I looked at both of the V11 and the V7. And both blew me away. When you look at them in their pictures, I'll put in a picture of them too. When you look at them in their pictures, they look like they'd be kind of bulky, kind of heavy rifles, but in actuality, they weigh almost nothing. Pretty lightweight little rifles, and I found them to be pretty daggone interesting, and like everything on them was smooth. The safety selector clicked easy. The trigger had a really firm and crisp click, like it just broke like glass. A lot better than my DPMS Oracle. And then like the action and stuff just rode smooth. Those nice rifles. And in the interest of saving time, so I don't ramble on, and that way I can, maybe convince the demon bugs to leave me alone outside, I'll just go to the last rifle that impressed me. I had so many others. Oops. This thing has a mind of its own too. I had so many other rifles that I enjoyed looking at and, fondling, and you know, playing with the action and pulling the trigger and stuff. But the one that impressed me the most after Daniel Defense, I think, was the DSA FNFAL. I didn't get much from DSA. I did get a bag from them. See there, they have their OSW FNFAL. It's an SBR FNFAL. And I've been infatuated with that one for a while. But I did hold their longer models, and I did hold one carbine model, and they are nice. I can see now why people like them as much as they do. I mean, I've always liked the FNFAL. I've always liked the AR-10, but the M1A always kind of appealed more to me. That's more just me. Like, it just appealed more to me because I think a lot of it is because my grandpa used one when he was stationed in Korea. It just works and functions for me very good. But the DSA FNFALs, the SA-58 is what they're called, that one was pretty nice. I held 3 of them. I held a small 16-inch model one that wasn't their OSW. It was one close to it. I held their Hebrew hammer. I'll put a picture of that in. And that's a limited run, the Hebrew hammer. But it was pretty nice, wood stocks and everything, and the trigger in it was smooth, the action was smooth. And then I held one that had a odd camo to it. It wasn't woodland like my M1A. It was a it looked kind of like a Mountain Dew can camo on it, and it was nice too. So the DSA SA-58 FNFALs impressed me a lot there at the annual meetings and exhibits. So this was part 1. I will do part 2 probably sometime later this week if I don't get busy again. And I'll just talk about the show in general. And then I'll get back to my regular, doing YouTube videos of shooting and reviews. I have a video that I said I was going to do, but all this NRA shows got in the way. I'm going to do a video on how to ID your M1A's bolt. The different ID markers they put on the bolts. So I really have a lot of interest in doing that next. And also, since it's warming up and the weather's getting better outside, me and my dad have a grand ambition to reload for our main hunting rifles and stretch their legs out to farther distances, such as 500 yards. And I printed off a bunch of these targets here of my M1A's scope reticle for the Redfield Revolution 4-12x40. And I got space over here for different yards, like 100, 200, 300, stuff like that. And I'm going to mark on here on the picture of this reticle my holds that I actually held on the target, so that way I'll know, I get it ingrained in my memory of where to hold with my reloads through the actual scope. So that way it's kind of like a dope thing, like your dope for rifle for bullet drop and stuff. I'm going to do that for my M1A with 168 grain reloads. So that's coming later this spring, or well, I should say summer. Now we're in May. Yeah, May 5th. That much time has passed already. About forget what day it is. So that's it. I just would do a few rifles that impressed me. I mean, I could talk your ear off all day and all night about the guns that I held and fingered, but that just is too long a video. So the next video will be me just talking about the show compared to 2014 next. So stay tuned for that. Come on in, old demon bugs. Painless is waiting. Yeah, Painless is waiting.